Hello.
Hi. Hi, lovely. I'm Dr. Ambra Brown.
And I'm Tesh Alvaro. Welcome to Two Single Mums and a Donor Daddy,
Where two complete strangers are connected by choosing the same donor daddy. And now we're having real conversations about the journey to solo motherhood by choice.
and how to prepare for it mentally, physically, emotionally, and even intuitively while creating the path to motherhood on your terms. How are you today?
I'm here. I was okay earlier, and then all of a sudden I'm like fading and not feeling the best. But I'm here because I really wanted to record this. I think this topic is important. I think every topic is important, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I wanted to definitely talk about this. And so I ask that you all bear with me today because I definitely don't have like my mojo. So you might find me
fine.
a little bit drained or even yawning. So bear with me though. How are you?
I'm okay. Such a vague answer, isn't it? I'm okay. I suppose, yeah, I'm just in that kind of place as well. Not that I feel unwell or anything, but I just feel my body wanting to just stop and rest. And that's something that I've been really working on honoring at the moment. So yeah, it has been challenging, and that's definitely a topic that we will discuss later down the track. So, but otherwise, I'm actually really good. I'm feeling good within myself, but I can just feel that my body's like, can we just go sit at the beach and read a book and just
I would
watch the
love
waves?
that.
Yeah,
I would love to just sleep and hear the sound of the waves. That would
Right?
be amazing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, we're all good here.
Good.
Just humid and hot as always, but we're good.
Good. We are starting to have longer days. We're starting to get into eventually spring. And I think you don't have it there in Australia, but we have daylight savings time. And I think that like any snow and like where I live, we still honor that. And so not today or tomorrow, but like the week after will be daylight savings time. So we'll be springing forward in the time. So that'll affect our that's going to affect
our time zones again. Yes, that's okay. See, it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's so funny how that happens. We're like, wait, hang on. So you're this time and then I'm that time.
Yes.
But yes, we actually do get daylight saving here in Australia. However, where I live in Queensland stays the standard time all year round. So it's just other states and territories that use the daylight saving. So New South Wales, ACT, Victoria, and other states as well. So Queensland, they're just was like, no, we're not doing it. So we're the same time all the time.
Gotcha.
We
But
just
to
have
make
to
life
work
so
around
much
you.
easier.
It does.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I'm going to get the story right, but apparently it does affect the farmers. So the dairy farmers with milking the cows. It's like, don't hold me to that. So that's just what I've heard because it's too hot to do so. That's my understanding why they don't. But if anyone on here watches this or listens to this and wants to provide the right reason, that'd be great. So as I said, don't hold me to that.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but that's something we'll work around. But yeah. It's interesting because also Queensland, we don't really get the full seasons like a lot of the other states do with each season. And that's something I kind of do miss. Like I don't miss the cold winters in Canberra. What I miss, what was so beautiful that I'd witnessed there is the colors of the leaves would change and plus fashion. Like I love clothing. And so I do miss when you see like the fashions and things like that. And sometimes I'll put a jumper on. Don't get me wrong. There are days that it can, especially in the morning or in the evening, it can get cold and I'll put a jumper on, but it will last for about an hour. And then I feel like I'm overheating. I don't last long in winter clothing here on the Gold Coast. So
That's funny.
Yes, but that's all right. We will work around the time zones again.
Yeah, we'll get it done. You will all still be able to hear us. So don't worry. It's just on our back end. And it'll always
That's
be
it.
timely for you guys.
Correct.
It's up to you, Tesh. We really didn't talk about it off air. But did you want to do a quick breath work or go right into the topic?
We can. I think sometimes it's just gives us a moment to sort of settle into our body, because I think the topic that we're going to be touching on can feel a lot for a lot of us women, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So if you are joining us today and you are listening, if you are going to take part in this breath work, please don't do it while you're driving. So just make sure you can stop the recording at any time and then come back to it when you're available. So I just invite you to sit down and just feel the support underneath you. And if it feels comfortable for you, just either softening your gaze or closing down your eyes. And I just want you to feel what's there for you right now. We're not changing our breath at this stage. We're just feeling what's there. And we're going to do a body scan. And as we do a body scan, we're going to breathe into the spaces that we can feel tension. And I want you to start from the top of your head. And as you scan down, just breathe into the spaces where you're feeling the tension. Do you feel it in the back of your head, your forehead, your ears? Just breathing into those spaces. Cheekbones. Loosening our jaw. Notice any tension in your neck. Breathing into those spaces. Shoulders. Shoulder blades. Our heart space. Down our back. Just breathe in, expanding where you feel the tension. Down into our belly, our cervix, our hips. Breathe in. Even if it's a sigh on the exhale, if there's any sound for you, just feeling what's there. We don't have to attach ourselves to the feeling, just breathe into it. Down through our legs, our ankles, into our feet, and our toes. Just expanding and contracting the breath. Knowing that you're so safe to be here right now. You're fully supported and you're so loved. Just allowing yourself to just be. Just be present. Allowing this time for you. Just breathing. Feeling it expand throughout your body, all the way through to your cells. Allowing it to feel nourishing. allowing to let go. That's it. Slowly coming back to the room, feeling the support underneath you, feeling the air on your skin, and saying thank you. I love you. Slowly opening your eyes, taking in the shapes and the colors of your room. How are we feeling?
I feel good. I could take a nap.
Yeah. And that's okay.
I will take a nap later.
You should. Absolutely.
I will. I had to remember when I was like doing like the body scan. I was like, oh yes, I need to make sure I'm still up. I was like, wait a minute. Be alert.
Hang on. I can feel myself like starting to, it's like, I just want to go to sleep. Thank you.
I know. I felt my head getting heavy. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. See, that's why when I say this, please do not be driving. Or, what's the other saying they use in a lot of meditations, or using heavy machinery? I was like,
yes,
oh, okay,
heavy
gosh,
machinery.
that sounds intense. But yeah, please don't be doing anything
Any
that it can put yourself in any type of danger. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's just a quick one, but sometimes doing that body scan and breathing into this gives us an opportunity, and it can just take a couple of minutes a day just to allow ourselves to feel our bodies and to feel what's there and to notice where we're feeling tension and tight and those things. And so the breath can really allow you, when you get to focus on those points, you can feel it almost expanding and contracting in those areas as well. So I really love that one. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, so too. And if you want to do more, you can always reach Tesh. She is an expert on it. So please reach out to her if you want to experience more of that and that felt good to you, then please do so.
Yes, thank you so much. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I had reached out to Tesh about this a little while ago, but I really want to talk about this. I think it's very important, but this is about, just in general, about using a donor. And I want you to know, this is not right now, this particular episode is not about choosing a donor. It's more so thinking about if you're emotionally ready of what that means to choose a donor, going through like donor conception. That is a huge deal. And I really wanted to showcase or put a spotlight on this because it doesn't just affect, as you know, me and Tesh are single moms by choice. And so obviously we were going to need to use a sperm donor to be able to conceive. But this is not just about women who are going on the solo journey path, but also anybody that is married who may need to use donor sperm, a donor egg, or have a double donor where it's both, or even same-sex partners, anybody that's in the process of needing a donor for ability to conceive. I think this is about everybody. Everybody's included in this, not specifically to just solo moms, because I think it's really important because we all share that common denominator of the fact that choosing a donor is life-changing and how that can impact how we feel going forward and how we can address that and be good with that in our hearts and in our minds. And also physically, because when we hold things that don't feel good, it manifests into physical ailments. So if we can tackle that, the better it'll be for you now and here on out. Because trust me, you definitely have to be ready emotionally in all aspects, because even though when you are eventually going to conceive and then have a child, that leads into a whole nother set of stages of just dealing with the choices that you've made to choose a donor. So I really wanted to tackle that, but also let you all know that this is definitely for the whole audience to just hear about this and how to handle it going forth before you actually choose a donor. But even if you're in the process of choosing a donor, this is very important as well. So I just want you all to listen and take note and share with everybody that needs to kind of hear about it. So without further ado, I think we can definitely move on to the topic. And at the end, we'll definitely provide any journal prompts or actionable steps that you can take. And we'll probably share some of that along the way too, because I know that I will, because it's just natural. But definitely stay tuned to the end, because we usually give very informative and practical steps to help you navigate this path as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. There's several layers that I wanted to address. So it's not going to be everything, but I thought this would be very important to talk about. And one of them, I really think, and I said this earlier before we were recording, that some of us who have hoped to go down the traditional path of having a partner and using, and obviously the partner would have either the egg or the sperm, and you knew these people, you know them, this is your partner, you know what I mean? And so you had this idea that you'd be able to do that. And when things kind of change and don't go as planned, we now kind of have to grieve over the fact that's no longer possibly an option, and that you have to look into choosing a donor sperm or a donor egg or both. And that can be very heartbreaking. I don't know, for me personally, if I had ever felt, well, I will say that I was kind of sad that the route that I thought I would take didn't happen. But I will say I was not disheartened when I did decide to use a donor. I was actually very excited about it. But I also knew that there would be some challenges emotionally as I went forth with making that decision. And I knew that I kind of had to get my mind ready to handle those things. But I will say that I don't think I really had like the grieving process of that part. But I know so many other women who I have worked with or have seen on the platforms that I'm on, like the support groups that I'm on, who deal with questions like that or want to get advice on that, have had to kind of really grieve over that so they can move forward to making the decision of choosing a donor. And so I was wondering, Cash, if you ever felt that way, like the grieving process of not doing the traditional route and now having to make the decision to choose a donor that you don't know, you have no clue about. Yeah. And if you hadn't, do you know anybody that had to grieve that before moving forward?
Yeah. So for myself at the time, I think I actually just made peace with the fact that I was going down this path on my own to have a child. And so sort of looking back, I don't really recall the grieving side of it. I think I had the decision was made for myself. This is what I'm going to do. Yes, it would have been absolutely lovely to be in a beautiful, healthy relationship, but I think also going off my past relationships, none of them were healthy. So I felt that this was definitely the right move and decision I had made. I do know of some women that were in relationships where their partner were infertile and they had to go down that path for them. So I don't want to go too much into it, but I just do understand, obviously, there was a lot of pain around that side of things as well. And same with on the other side where they had to use donor eggs too. So I could feel their pain. I could feel what it must have felt like, because I think from what I could see and understand was it's almost like there's this shame around it that if you're in a relationship that you would have to go down the path of looking at using a donor, whether it's sperm or egg. And it was almost, it's like they felt that they were inadequate, right? Mm-hmm. So there was that part of them that they couldn't live up to. And that really broke my heart to see this kind of effect on people, because I think the perception is everyone just should be able to, right? Mm-hmm. Just falling pregnant naturally. Every woman should be able to. It's not like that for everyone. And I think this is where we need to be really careful and honest and caring and supportive around this for both men and women in this space. But yeah, for me, I didn't really grieve. I was, yes, quietly excited, but there was a different level of, okay, what does this look like now? For me, choosing the sperm and those sorts of things, like you touched on before, in regards, what is my child going to look like? Are they going to look like me? What features are they going to have? But also, I think on the medical side and the health side, it's okay. That's what I had to look at as well, because I've got certain health things that run through our family. So I was like, okay, I need to sort of look into that too. Whereas you don't really get a lot of that in couples and things like that. Yes, you would sort of look into it a bit, but not always necessarily. So it's interesting how it can play out.
Yeah. Again, in my family, we haven't had that happen. So I can't look back and say that. But I will say there have been a few people that like I have coached now. Just a side note, I'm also like a pregnancy health coach. That is what I have a certification in, but I have more focused on the single mom by choice side of things. But I have had coached a few married couples, more so like the woman aspect of the married couple. But I will say their spouses were, well, one of them, I will say, I won't blanket them all, but one of them, there was medical condition that definitely affected his sperm and was not able to just use it. It just wasn't viable. They just weren't healthy due to the medical situation. And so they had to look into using donor sperm. And like you said before, I'm sure that that really played a role in like the man just feeling like very inadequate. Something's wrong with me. I'm no good. And then having to also deal with the fact that, you know, we'll touch on this too later on in the topic, other layer part of it, but like it won't even look like me. Is this even my child? There was just so many things.
Absolutely.
Like, and so having to like both of them grieve that, but particularly him too, because it was definitely happening to him. And I guess too, like you talked about a little bit, just like the masculinity of it all, feeling maybe emasculated because he could not do his manly duty based on society, you know.
Correct.
But yeah, they had to grieve that before even going into the journey of choosing a donor. And so I will say this, and we said this last time we talked about things that were very heavy, that please make sure that you talk with someone that can support you, that's healthy to navigate this space, because this is not easy. Just becoming a parent in any fashion is not easy, and adding on other situations makes it harder. So talking to your therapist, going out and finding one would be helpful to like, you know, really help you cope and deal with the gravity of it all, the loss of not being able to do what naturally you're supposed to do. And so I really encourage you all, if you are going through this, no matter what situation it is, whether again you're a solo mom or you're a married couple or you're partners or same sex or whatever it may be, please make sure you do, if it's really running deep for you, making sure that you get the help that you need to navigate the space and release that, because again, it's not your fault. And I just want you to know that, but definitely getting the help that you need. And if you all follow me, I have a newsletter that actually has a list. You know how you go and you click on, it's like a directory. You click on the city you live in, whatever. So if you go on my newsletter, you can click on that directory, and wherever you live can give you a list of like qualified therapists to help you navigate that space, because it's definitely can be very challenging. And so I will say the first thing, if it does affect you, making sure that you're able to grieve that and then move forward and making the decision that fit you in regards to choosing a donor.
Absolutely. I think that's a brilliant idea. And like what Dr. Ambra just touched on, it's not your fault. And I think for a lot of us, we're made to feel like we're broken. We're made to feel like that there is something wrong with us, when in actual fact, it's not. But as I said, it's the societal pressure, it's the family pressure. There's so many layers, and not everyone is going to understand your journey. And at the end of the day, it's not their journey, it's yours. And you are the one that needs to make the right decision for yourself, whether you decide to go down this path as a single mother by choice, or you are doing it within a partnership. At the end of the day, the two of you come together. The two of you work through this together and get the support the real support, the nourishing support, all the information, and educate yourselves as much as possible. And this is really important. It's about the coming together and just going, okay, we're making peace with this decision moving forward. And this is really when you get the opportunity to sit with yourselves, whether it's coming together and doing it together or individually, and then coming together. It's like finding that time within yourself. Yes, speaking to a professional therapist in regards to all of this, working with Dr. Ambra on this is so powerful, but also working with your breath. And this is where I encourage you to work with me as well. This is where we get to go deep, to connect to what's there for us and to allow whatever's there to come through and honor it. Really honor it, whatever is coming through, and to feel safe with allowing that expression to come through as well. Yeah. Is so important, because once we really have these opportunities to be with yourself, you will find that you can start making really clear decisions, and you're not rushing into anything because of all the exterior noise, right? It's not that you're not taking it on board, but it's allowing you the opportunity to go, okay, I can understand the information they've provided me because I'm now neutral, right? I'm not stressed. I'm not panicked. I'm not making a decision based on fear. I'm making a decision because I feel it within myself that this is either, yes, the correct decision for me to make, or no, this is not the right decision for me to make. And nothing and no one around you is going to change your mind. So that's what I think is so important as well. It's like there's this coming together, but it's really allowing yourself to sit with yourself and go, whatever that looks like too for you. If it's journaling, if it's talking to someone, there's all different modalities that can assist you with this decision. So just honor that. You don't have to make a fast decision by any means. So I just hope that little bit of information helps as well.
Yeah. You touched on this earlier, so did I, but I wanted to talk about also looking at the aspect of, okay, so like you have made peace that this is a decision that you're going to make. You are going to use a donor, that moving forward, you're now realizing that it may or may not look like you. Because even though, and I will say this, like, I don't know about you, but when I was picking out my donor, initially, like for me, as you can, if you're watching me on YouTube, you can see that I'm a person of color. I'm a Black American. And originally, I wanted to find someone that was similar of color so that it could, obviously like my child can look like me, but there's a lot of Black men who do not donate, or if they do donate, somehow through the testing, the rigorous testing, they do not qualify. So there was very limited amount of African-American men, or even African men, who did not make the list. And even if when I was choosing the donor, the other qualifications that if they made it through the rigorous testing, the choices that I had were not aligning with what I wanted. And so that pretty much eliminated majority of them. So now I'm faced with, okay, clearly I'm probably going to have to find someone that's not of my ethnic background or my race. And so what does that look like for me? How will I handle that? And you never know. It's like a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get when your child is born. Absolutely. And so how will you be able to handle that? If the child does not look like you, it looks like the donor. How will I navigate that? Will I feel okay about that? Will I be angry about that? Because it reminds you of that you did choose a donor. And then that brings up the shame. Because we talked about this again, and I'll kind of reiterate, I think we're going to talk about it later, but just if being a single mom by choice is like your last option or like it's your default because nothing else seemed to work, and now you're just choosing this because this is it. If for some reason like this, your child looks like the donor, will you be angry at that? Will it be a reminder of like how what you had originally thought didn't work out? So again, it goes back to like really knowing who you are, knowing your boundaries, knowing why, and then handling that grief and then moving on to determine what exactly, how you're going to feel, like thinking about those things, because it's real. And so I had to like think about that step of like, okay, there's a high possibility that this baby will look like my donor. And then having to like eventually tell your child, okay, yeah, like you don't look like me, you look like your donor. Just being able to wrestle with that and be okay with it and being ready to divulge that, share that, be honest about it. But I can't tell you what to do because you can do whatever you want to do. But I will say that generally helps in the long run if you can be honest with yourself so that you can be truthful and authentic to the child you're going to present to the world and have your child's back when things do come awry, when your child is in daycare or when your child is in school and having to like deal with that. And also just coming to terms of like when I talk about when you're in a partnership, right? And that partner is not medically, there was a reason why they could not be able to use their egg or sperm, being able to deal with the fact that my partner's using someone else's sperm or donor and they won't look like me. How will I feel about that? Will I be angry about that? Will I be okay about that? Just really be honest with yourself and having that healthy discussion, whether it's by yourself as a solo person or even with your partner. And even like Tesh said, like individually having that conversation with yourself and then coming back together with your partner and having a conversation because it's just very important. But really being aware of how you would react and feel knowing that the identity of your child may not look like you and being okay with that and handling in a way that feels good to you and for your future child.
I couldn't agree more.
I want to pause for just a moment because if any part of this conversation is resonating with you, I want you to know you're not alone. I'm currently building a mini course called Ready from Within, designed to help women slow down, reflect, and reconnect with themselves as they consider or even navigate solo motherhood. This isn't about rushing a decision. It's about building a strong inner foundation so you can trust yourself through the good, the hard, and everything in between. I've opened up a waitlist so you can be the first to know when it's ready. The link is in the show notes.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you were saying for yourself, like that you didn't have a lot of opportunity with African-American men. So this is really great information to have out there as well. So I remember with my journey, and everyone was quite sort of playful and excited. And even the nurses at the fertility clinic, they were like, just grab a glass of wine and sit down and choose someone. And I'm like, and I had friends just going, who would you choose? Right. And I'm thinking to myself, this isn't a game. This isn't a dating app. I'm actually choosing a man who is going to be biologically my child's father. This is serious for me. I'm not just going, oh, he's cute, he'll do.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that for me. And when I ended up choosing our donor, at the time, I think for me, the concerns were, as you touched on this, are they going to look like me? What features will they have of the donor? And I think what was really beautiful about our journey as well is that we have photos so you can see as well. When I first looked into it with Australian men, the ones that I had were anonymous. I didn't get photos. I had no clue what they looked like. And I went, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And I understand for a lot of men that might be difficult, but I was like, I'm not doing that to my child. I can't do that to my child. That I'm like, okay, you have these features, but I've got no idea what this man looks like. I can't do that to my child. And I wasn't prepared to go down that track at all. And like I said, for me, I was like, okay, am I better off? And these were things thinking forward, right? So I was like, okay, my child's growing up. My child was like, Mum, I have these features of you. We're similar, but I have these different features, right? And it's just, I want him to be able to see the donor and me and go, oh, okay, so I get these features from them and these features from you. And I'm like, yeah. So that was really important to me because I didn't want my son to ever feel that there was anything shameful in how he was brought into this world. That was my concern. And that's why I made sure I had these very open and honest conversations with my family and close friends as well. It's like, whenever we talk about it, it's open conversations, and that if he walks into the room and he's hearing us talking about it, that no one hushes or shushes in regards to it. I was like, what do you think that it is going to affect my child? How do you think it's going to affect him? I don't want that. And I'm not going to have that on myself either, because I know what I did. This is how I was bringing my child into this world. And for me, and like I always say to him, at the end of the day, I wanted you, and this is how God wanted me to bring you into this world. And it's like, you came into this world filled with love. And this is what I want people to remember as well, is please make sure you are doing it for all the right reasons. You're not being heavily influenced by those around you, even with if you're in a partnership as well. These are the open and honest conversations you need to have too. So yeah, I just knew that with our donor that we chose, that I could feel within myself and within my heart, he was a great choice. He really was. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Everything about him.
Yeah.
And just because I can look at my son and I can see both of us. And that's what I love, is that I can see the two of us within him.
Yeah.
Even though there's so many similarities between my eldest nephew and my son, like, it's uncanny, the resemblance. And that's the other thing, right? It's just like we worry, we have that tendency to worry, who are they going to look like, this, that, the other. And then when you see them against your own family, you're like, oh my gosh, you can see the resemblance there as well. So,
yeah,
you know,
that's true.
Yeah. So that's how it was for myself. Yeah.
I want to circle back to like what I said earlier, and you mentioned it too, but I have had several chats or discovery calls with ladies who have reached out to me, and they have started the process of looking at donor banks and or cryobanks, however you want to call it. And they have had expressed like how there wasn't a lot of options for Black women, and it was very disheartening. And so I will say that is something that's common, unfortunately. So I want you all who are person of color, but particularly Black women, I think, too, who should be aware of that and just being okay if they're not able to find a donor that's similar to their ethnic background or race, then just kind of being able to deal with that. But it is definitely is unfortunate that it's not a lot. And that was also very, I think, overwhelming to them as well, and just disheartening. I think there was even articles about that too, honestly, just because there were articles and relating to issue that disparity of just not having a lot of Black donors, particularly Black American donors. Yeah, that's just can play a huge role in trying to navigate that space of what do I do next, you know? I will say that our donor that, you know, you and I both use, he was not on my list. I'm all about being an open donor, like I was all about that. But he was not on the list. I don't know if I didn't just see our donor or what, but like I had other people in mind, and something just didn't feel right. And I started over again, and I was actually tired. Like I was over it. I was over looking. And through like my friend of mine who was amazing through this too, like I think either she spotted the donor or I had something, and I don't remember the exact details, but that was it. This was the last. And our donor was amazing. Obviously, he did not look nothing like me, but I agree. Like the way that the donor moved me, I was so like, it just emotionally just took me over in the best way. And honestly, although he did not look like me, I could not have written him better, because he was so similar into the ways that I would have looked for a partner. And as someone who is similar to serving others and being in the healthcare profession, that is what I do. So it all just spoke to me. And so I just could not have been more happier and this was meant to be. And, with Tesh and I using the same donor, his features are very prominent. Very prominent.
Yes.
And we're laughing because we both know. We know a lot more than you all will ever know. And I will say that when my son was born and then sometime after, he looked nothing like me. I mean, they did not. One was, I don't see it. But as he's gotten older, he has looked more and more like me. I don't care either way, but I do now see myself in him. And I mean, it's just so happy. But I also see the donor clearly in him too. But I think it's balanced itself out, But it's funny because when I do look at your son, oh, yep, they're related.
Yeah, it's so true. You can see it in them. You're like, and that's what I was like sort of leaning towards before when I see my son next to my eldest nephew. I'm like, holy moly, you would think these guys are brothers. Just it's uncanny. But then when I see them against our children, I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many similarities as well, which is, it's just beautiful to see. It really is. And I loved exactly what you touched on with our donor. And I was like, it's not just looks. And I think this is what a lot of us can get caught up into as well. It was just everything about this man that spoke to me on just such a much deeper level. And I was like, yes, we're so aligned on family values, but also there was just so many layers to this man, which I thought was just beautiful, really beautiful. And I was like, and I can see that coming through my son. I really see that through him, which I absolutely adore to witness as well. So, yeah, it's really amazing. So, yeah, we feel good. I feel good. Yeah.
I will go on to say, because you touched on this too, but again, there's so many levels or layers when it comes to emotions for certain situations. And so you mentioned about family and not shaming or making your child feel ashamed of like him being a donor and being open and honest about the conversation. Like if you talk about it, he can be there in this conversation because I don't hide from that. And so talk about family comments, whether they're warranted or not, family members outside of like your immediate family, friends, coworkers, even strangers. There's another level of like, how will you handle that emotions that come up when there is questions? What are you going to do if it doesn't look like you? Or, I don't think that's something that naturally you should be doing, using a donor. That's just not natural. Maybe you don't need to do this. It's not meant for you to do this. Or even like if you do have your child, let's say you're out at the park or just doing your everyday outings and someone comes to you and is like, is that your child? Doesn't look like you. Or whose child is this? Just things that do happen and have happened, and I've heard it and experienced it. And so having a whole nother layer of emotions coming up and being able to handle those things, and again, staying by your conviction and certainty and having boundaries when it comes to this decision that you made and that you're feeling good about that and letting no one make you feel less than or ashamed that you're choosing this route and handling that in the way that feels good. But there will be so many emotions coming out of that you also need to kind of plan ahead and figure that out as well and how you're going to deal with that, because it will come up and it could be that your family is supportive. And I love that. If that's what goes on, kudos to you, because there's a lot of people whose family do not support that at all. But there's still going to be people till this day now in 2026 who will literally have something to say about you using a donor, or later on finding out that like your child does not look like you, it's more the donor, and them questioning the biological situation of like your child. And so being able to just navigate that as well and be aware of that so that you can tackle that as that time comes, because at one point in time, I hate to say it, it will come up somewhere or another.
Yes.
And so being able to handle that.
And I couldn't agree more. And this will definitely be a topic I would love to discuss another time. Absolutely. But I will touch on that. Unfortunately, there really are nasty people out in the world. I've had it happen to me on a personal level where they attacked me with how I became a mother and how in their eyes, I'm not a mother.
A real mother.
Yeah, a real mother. So it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, but they're out there. And for some reason, they feel very comfortable with providing their unsolicited information because it makes them feel better about themselves. But it just goes to show you, it says more about them as a person than it has any reflection on you. And I want you to really hear that, please, because I know, as I said, on a personal level, how this can make you feel. But looking back at it now, all these 10 years later, and just go, yeah, that shows exactly who you are as a person. And it's got nothing to do with me. It's just stirring up something in them. So, but this is something that I would love to touch on another time. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just be aware and prepare. So that's the whole thing about this whole topic is being emotionally ready to make this decision. What does that really mean deep down? Like when you say, I'm going to use a donor, no matter an egg or sperm or both, like really understanding what that means and the different layers that it'll play and how you emotionally handle those things in order to be able to navigate yourself in this journey, because it can be a challenge and you'll never know when that challenge will be thrown at you. And I'm not just saying just now when you're choosing like your donor, but even like now, like our sons are older now, and you're going to still have people in classrooms, your kids, because every kid is brought up differently and taught differently. And the parents' viewpoints are sometimes built onto that child's thinking, and so can bring that to your child and say things that are not nice. And so being able to navigate that with your child. So it's just not just choosing a donor and that's the end of it. It's really being really prepared and knowing what that means when you make that decision. So, but yeah, I definitely think we should have a whole nother conversation, because that in itself is a huge deal. And I know with my family, and I understand a lot of what their thoughts and concerns were, but I know that that was some of a challenge too, of what will people think, and this isn't the best thing for you to do. Just know that that's a whole nother layer to think about, is when it comes to your family and friends and coworkers and strangers, and how to navigate that, when you are thinking about using a donor. And so I think that goes on to like connect it into the sense of like, with you and I, we are obviously like our donor was used by several people, multiple people. You and I know each other because of this donor, but we also know other people who have used this donor. So we obviously know that our child has half siblings. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big deal. Yeah. And I think that's something to really think about too, because it's not going to be just your child. It's going to be this donor has other children out there. And are you okay with that? How do you explain that? Do you not explain that? How do you feel about reaching out to them? What if they reach out to you? That's a big deal too. I know for me, I did not think about this. Like I knew, but I did not think about it. Like it didn't really occur to me. And so when I gave birth to my son and I was actually reached out to, I was like, wow, okay, so yes, this is real. Somebody else has used this donor and here's this child. But not only that, I'm going to be introduced to a community that this donor has been chosen. And so now I'm going to be in the space where I'm knowing that my child has multiple siblings, and I'm going to be knowing like the parents of these siblings. And I knew, but never thought about it until it happened. But I will say, for me, I was ecstatic. I was very happy. I was so like, oh yeah. I mean, and I wasn't overwhelmed. It was just, it felt good in my spirit that I never really questioned it. However, I will say, like, a friend of mine had thought it was weird. It was like, I can't believe you're so calm about this. I can't believe you're going to be meeting these people. Like, it was just like mind-boggling to this person. And I kind of got their thought, but I never really, like, why not? Like, I get to meet so many. I was like, why not? Like, I get to meet so many amazing people. And also, too, because like you get to know, like you share that bond and you get to kind of see what they look like and like what things may come up for them that might be similar to like what's happening in my son. Because some of them are older, some of them are
Yeah.
younger,
Yes,
and some of
that's
them are right there, the same age as my son or as our kiddos. And
Yeah.
so we get to see like how things are going to shape or may shape, or we're able to kind of let others know who are just now younger. Like this, yeah, we had this, our son or our daughter dealt with this too. So don't worry. So it was just a sense of community and it felt really good. But I will say that, you know, it can be overwhelming. And I think that it can be challenging to others in the community that there is a lot more have siblings out there than they would like to have.
Yeah.
And that's a reality too. So really just dealing with that and knowing that it's like a high possibility
Yes.
that you can even wrap your mind around. But can you be okay with that? And for me, I know that I was 100% on board. So
And I have to agree, I was very excited to be part of our community. And I think for me, because I never really joined a mother's group when I had my son. At the time, I had a couple of girlfriends that had young children as well. So they were kind of my mother's group anyway. But for me, I think this felt like sort of safer for me because I had this community of families and single mums that were in the same position I was in, right? So we've used the same donor. And so we had that beautiful bond and connection, but we could also go through this journey of motherhood together. I think that's what was really beautiful for me. I had tried mothers groups a couple of times. And for me at the time, it felt like the mothers were competing against each other. Well, my child does this now. Well, what does your child do? And I was like, ugh, I don't like that environment. I just want to be able to, are you struggling? Okay, what are you struggling with? What's been really good for you? You know, all the, what milestones have they reached? Like celebrating instead of going, well, my child does this. What does your child do? And I was like, can we stop this competition all the time of my kid's amazing over your kid or vice versa or that kind of crap? I don't do well with that side of things. So that's what I love so much about our beautiful community and how we were able to connect and that everyone was embraced that wanted to be part of it as well. So that's what I loved. Everyone was embraced, everyone was welcomed, everyone was loved, and we could celebrate on our children. And like you said, so many of them are so close to age, like it's literally either days, weeks, or months between, you know, a lot of them, which is so cool to see as well. Yeah. That's what I love.
And obviously, it's a great group, and I know some more than others, but I will say that like I care deeply about every one of them, and I try the best that I can, like make sure that my son knows, you know, you have great brothers and sisters, half brothers and sisters, and that I try to let him see like pictures of them so he's aware. Or sometimes, since I live in the States, like we're all obviously in different states or countries, but sometimes we try to meet up if able. And because my son talks a lot to some of them and I have know the parents, like when I have met them in person, it just felt natural to me. And it was like their kid was like my kid, you know, it was like no big deal. It just felt natural and just right. And so I'm not saying that everybody should gather into a group and be okay. It's whatever you choose. But Tesh and I, we just had this beautiful experience in our group and it just felt right and felt natural. And again, it also helps for when there's something that happens, whether it's medically or just a milestone that they've reached, we can go into the group and ask these questions. And it's, oh yeah, this did happen. Or no, this didn't happen to me, but I'll keep an eye out for it, you know? So it just feels good to know, you know, like it just feels validating and you can be directed too, because there's some that I think you should reach out to like your doctor and ask because this might have happened to my child. And so it just helps you in so many ways to be connected and know what's going on. And you get to see how their children are growing and how they look similar to like your child or and their behaviors or how their personalities are. It's just amazing to see. And I like to celebrate their milestones, too. It's just really nice. So I think that for you and I, we were okay and embraced it and felt good about it. But again, there's people who may not want to do that, and that's totally their right too. But
correct.
Despite that, I think it's important to still be ready mentally and emotionally to handle that, because no matter if you don't want that or not, it's out there. It's just what it is. It's reality.
Yeah. And that's exactly right, because you will come across, even though they may want to be part of the community itself, they have different views, whether or not they're actually going to inform their child that they've used a donor, right? Or anything like that. So whereas myself, I know that I wanted to be very open with my child. However, there's going to be women out there that they don't want to. And I think this is understanding, and like, in a sense, it's not our place to be okay with it. What it's accepting how they see what's right for them. And that's perfect as well. And it's holding that level of respect for each other as well. So I think that's really important, because we're not here to push our views on how someone should see this through. And it's all individual. And this is what we keep touching on. It is your journey, your personal journey, and you need to be very comfortable within yourself of how you want this journey to be and look like for you. So we're just giving you some insights of our own journey. It's not that you've got to take it on board and it's do with it what you will. This is just our journey and our experience as well. So I think that's what's really important too.
Yeah. And again, everything that we have talked about on each episode, it's just to bring awareness so that you don't feel blindsided, but also to prepare. Because for me, again, like, I didn't know about any of this stuff. I didn't go to anybody with this. And so I think the more you know, the better you can be prepared. Will it always be perfect and right? No. But at least you know how to handle a lot of things along the way. And I think that's important while we are here to just let you know, and you choose to do what you want to do. We provide the tools and awareness, and it's up to you to make the decision that's best for you. And so, yeah, I just think that these things are really important to know personally before you decide to use a donor or go and choose or pick one. But again, if you are already in the midst of that, you can still make that decision. You can still use this. This is very valuable, even right the way after you use a donor and you even have a child. It's really important to just pick out what suits you, what's needed to navigate that space. But yeah, I just wanted to share and highlight these things. I thought that they were very important to know.
Absolutely.
We kind of talked about like some of the actionable steps or like prompts, but I will say, just, you talked about it before, Tesh, like journaling, and y'all are going to get tired of me saying this, but that is my thing. But you can journal on paper, you can talk it out like in a recording, you can use a recorder, whatever you desire, but getting this out and really asking yourself these questions, like everything that we touched on today, ask yourself these questions. How do I feel if my child does not look like me? How do I feel about even actually taking the step of using a donor? Like, am I okay with that? Have I even grieved that I'm not going to be able to do this traditional route? Like, asking yourself these questions to help you really feel all the feels, allowing yourself that space to feel all the feels and really be honest with yourself and navigate that. And again, you don't have to like answer it right away, but just having the open dialogue with yourself to make yourself aware and reflect on that. And when you feel good, then you can start writing those answers down. And what you talked about that, Tesh, but again, just what emotions or feelings or what does your nervous system feel like? I don't know about you, but sometimes when I feel a certain way, my body is tense and tight. Sometimes I'm cloudy and foggy with the thoughts about these things. And so being able to use your breath work to really help you feel clear about it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just think really just journaling it out, talking with someone, like I said before, a therapist about it, or if you don't want to, which I encourage you to, but if not, a very trusted friend who's very neutral. If you don't think they can be neutral, don't do it. But if they are, talking with them too about that will be very helpful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And it's the importance of journaling is we want to get it out of our head and onto paper. right?
Yeah.
At the same time, it's very easy for us to get caught up on those questions, and we're trying to overanalyze and analyze and all the rest of it. And then we speak it out and those sorts of things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what it can do to our system is it can overload our system. And it's, okay, well, am I actually making the correct decision? Am I in the right headspace for all of this? So I really do encourage journaling. I really do encourage speaking to someone. I also encourage you, like what Ambra touched on as well, is breath work. And the reason for it is it just allows you to just be able to get out of our monkey mind, which we tend to be in all the time. And sometimes it's really difficult to make clear, concise decisions and focus, and allow ourselves to drop into our body. And as Dr. Ambra said, touching on the emotions, where we're feeling the tension, what is the emotion that's attached to what we're bringing up for us right now? Is it fear? Is it grief? Is it sadness? Is it excitement? Is it wonder? Is it curiosity? There's all these different emotions that can come up for us. So it's getting quite curious and playful, because that's what you want it to be. You want it to be curiosity and playfulness, not feeling like there's a lot of heaviness in making these decisions. But it's also allowing you to sit with that heaviness feeling. Okay, what's there for me? What is this heaviness? What does that look like? What is that going to transpire to? And being there. And that's why with what I bring forward is you're more than welcome to book in an introductory call with myself, and I get to have a chat with you for a good hour, but we're also going to do a good amount of breath work as well. So you get an understanding of how that feels for you. And then this can then lead into working with me on a one-on-one level, to then we can sort of really start to navigate and push through what's there for you. So you are to be in a space where you're like, yeah, I'm ready to make the decision that's right for me, whatever that looks like, right? And this is why Dr. Ambra and I are here to support you, to guide you as best as possible through this remarkable journey that we've been on.
Yeah, and so I do. Now, this is geared towards women who are thinking about becoming a single mom by choice. They're on the thinking path or already on that path. But if you're not sure, I do have a quiz called the Hello Motherhood Readiness Quiz that will help you figure out if you are ready to take this path. And also, too, even if you're not ready for that quiz and you just really want to get to know yourself, I do have the course. It's on wait list right now, but it's called Ready from Within, which is really getting to know like who you are, being aware of yourself and setting a strong foundation for when you do want to make that journey to becoming a single mom by choice. Or even if you're not sure, and it may be where you find out that you don't want to be, that's fine too. But this course will really help you make that decision. But more importantly is that just knowing who you are, having your boundaries, being strong in your convictions, and doing what's best for you and not for like someone else, but for you and what you want. So I have that, but it's in the show notes. And so you can also reach out to me and we can talk about it too. But we all just have great ways to support you guys. So yes, please hit both of us up if you want to, or individually for whatever needs you might have for yourself. But we are most importantly here to help you to navigate this path and support you in any way that we can. So we just appreciate you very much, more than you know.
Correct. It's been so good. Today's been such a brilliant topic to discuss. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Tesh, you want to say where you can find us and anything else you want to add?
You are here with us today. So whether that's via Spotify or on YouTube, you can please make sure if you have any questions or comments, please put it in below. Also, you can find us on Instagram, and the links will be below Instagram as well as our link tree. Please reach out to both of us or individually. We love to hear from you if you have, as I said, any questions or you just want to reach out in general. We really love connecting with you all. So yes, don't be afraid.
Do not. We are here to help. And just remember to make sure you share this, because you never know who might benefit from this. And rate us, because the more that you can help us get it out there in the atmosphere, the more we can help people, because that's what we want at the end of the day.
Please like us.
Where we think you guys.
Yeah,
We are. But
no, this is
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I agree. This has been good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Have a spectacular day, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.